This is Show Up as a Leader, a show from People Forward Network, helping you maximize your positive impact on the world by becoming your best, fully authentic self.
Hey everybody, it is Rosie. I am so excited to welcome Gregg Ward to the Show Up as a Leader feed. No, we are not related, but we might as well be. His series is The Better Boss, Essential People Management Skills Every Leader Needs. And he really is passionate about this because he says leading people is a human skill, and I wholeheartedly agree. Gregg is the founder and executive director of the Center for Respectful Leadership. He is an award-winning, best-selling author of The Respectful Leader, and he brings a wealth of experience for real-world people leadership wisdom into every single episode. He is going to be breaking down one specific tangible technique that he leads in the work that he does per episode so that you can put it into practice right away. So not talking about things, not concepts, actionable, practical things that you can walk away and put into practice right away. You're going to hear what it looks like, how to use it, and why that technique consistently delivers result, many times with real life examples and demonstrations. So short episodes, practical tools, and better leadership starting today without overcomplicating things. Take a listen.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Better Boss, the practical podcast providing you with the essential people management skills every leader needs. I'm Gregg Ward, your host and executive director of the Center for Respectful Leadership. So the way we've designed this podcast is that each episode focuses on one really powerful technique that's featured in our virtual R-Factor leadership workshop. In plain language, I'll tell you what the technique is, how to use it, when to use it, what happens when you do, and why it works. By the way, if you want to find out if you have what it takes to be a respectful leader, why not take our leadership survey? It's a self-assessment called Am I a Respectful Leader? And normally, to take the full version, our clients pay over $100 per person. But right now, for a limited time, you can take the quick condensed version for free. Just click on the link in the show notes. I think you're going to find it very useful. Okay, let's get going. In today's episode of The Better Boss, I am going to introduce you to an amazingly easy-to-use technique that will set you apart from all the others in your organization. It's called Be the First to Respect, and it's one of the key practices of respectful leadership. Now, I know it's not easy to say this technique, but it's easy to do. What is this Be the First Respect technique? Well, basically, when you see someone at work for the first time on any given day, either in person or virtually, you need to be the first one to say hello. Don't wait for them to say hello to you. No, you make it your business to greet them first. Even if you're in the middle of something, just stop what you're doing and say hello. And this part is very important. You need to say their name when you're doing it. Quick story. A really long time ago, before the phrase remote work had ever been invented, I was working as an entry-level clerk at John Jay College of Criminal Justice in New York. And every day, like everyone else, I commuted into the office to do my work. And almost every day, I would see the president of the college, Dr. Lynch, walking briskly through the halls with other senior administrators on their way to yet another very important grand poobah kind of meeting. But you know what he did? Every time President Lynch saw me, he would stop and say hello, like he really knew me. And he would say my name enthusiastically, like he was so happy that I was working there. I'll never forget it. President Lynch made me feel like I was the most important employee at the college, even though I was just a clerk. So why did I tell you that story? Because President Lynch used the Be the First to Respect technique like a Jedi master. He did it with everyone. And even though he's gone now, I have no doubt that everyone who served under his leadership remembers him fondly because of it. So, why is this so effective as a leadership tool? Why do you need to be the first one to say hello? Well, it's kind of a subtle move, but psychologists will tell you that being the first to greet someone functions as a kind of social lubricant that reduces social friction, turning you into an active contributor in that relationship rather than just a passive participant. You're making the initial effort, and that registers positively with the other person. So you might ask, why do you need to use their name? Good question, I might say. Well, here's what you're doing by using their name. You're validating them. You're letting them know that you have space for them in your brain. As the motivational guru Dale Carnegie once said, a person's name is the sweetest and most important sound in any language. Now, hang on. If you're like me, remembering people's names, especially people you don't see all the time, that can be a real pain. So I use a memorization technique I learned many years ago. First, when a new person says their name to me, I'll say it back to them very slowly. I'll even spell it out, even if it's a common name. And they always look at me a little weird, but that's okay. Next, while I'm looking at their face, I'll try to identify one distinguishing feature that stands out. I don't know, like bushy eyebrows or a wide smile or a piece of jewelry. And then I'll create a silly or very vivid visual association between their name and that distinguishing feature. If it rhymes or sounds like their name, that's even better. But the crazier and more ridiculous the association, the more likely that your brain will store it. For example, if someone's name is Mark and they have bushy eyebrows, I'll think of them using a giant marker to draw their eyebrows. That's crazy, right? But marker is close enough to Mark, so I remember their name. By the way, I also use this technique in reverse to help people remember my name and specifically how it's spelled. I'll say, I'm Gregg Ward, and my first name has 2 G's at the end, like egg. And if you look at my forehead and receding hairline, it kind of looks like a big egg. And it's so funny. I once won a networking competition this way where over 75 people remembered me and my name more than anyone else in the room. They even remembered how to spell it. And even though we only spent 20 seconds together. So anyway, back to the be the first to respect technique and why it works. You see, most people feel acknowledged and respected when their boss or someone very senior in their company takes the time and effort to say hello first and uses their name when they do it. In fact, the first time it happens, especially when someone in the C-suite does it, most people are very pleasantly surprised. And that is going to pay dividends down the road. And here's another benefit to you doing this technique. When you're the first to respect someone, social psychologists say you are removing what they call the burden of initiation. In a way, you're providing a kind of social gift to the other person by acknowledging them first and using their name. And this reduces the uncertainty and hesitation they might have in greeting you. And when someone gives us a gift, most of us will reciprocate. We'll give our focus and enthusiasm back to the gift giver, setting up a kind of positive feedback loop that can build rapport over time. And this is where it's really interesting. When you do this consistently with everyone in your organization, no matter their role or their status, no matter who they are, you're sending a very powerful message to everyone that you are approachable. And at the same time, you are someone who is respectful and worthy of their respect, just like President Lynch at John Jay College. Gone are the days of the cold, distant captains of industry sitting high up in the top corner suite plotting global strategic moves while the soldiers duke it out in the trenches. Nope. These days, people want to genuinely connect with their leadership, to be acknowledged by them, and to have mutually respectful and supportive relationships with them. To use an overused cliche, this be the first to respect technique is a game changer for you as a leader. Once you start using it, you will be amazed at how people respond to you, how they'll warm up to you instantly, and be much more likely to be open to your ideas and your leadership. And you know what? Even when you give them feedback, they're going to listen to it more closely. And by the way, this is just one of the many techniques that are found in our very popular virtual training program called the R Factor Workshop. If you want to know more, look in the show notes. Just click on the blue button once you get to the website, and be sure to enter the promo code TBB at the bottom of the form. That code gives you access to special discounts reserved for podcast listeners. Now, I want you to try this be the first to respect technique right away, right now, if you can. So if you're in your workplace today, or you're going in, I want you to walk around and see if you could spot someone you know that you haven't talked to yet. Then pretend you're on your way somewhere, and as you pass them by, stop and say hello and their name. Make sure you use the name that they like to be called, and make sure you're the one who speaks first. And of course, you should be genuine and enthusiastic when you do this, as if you're delighted to see them. Then notice how they respond. They might be shocked, but I'm pretty darn sure that they're going to reciprocate with just as much energy and enthusiasm. By the way, if they don't worry. Maybe they're having a bad day or something very serious is on their mind. Don't take it personally. This technique even works on people who are in a foul mood. If you repeat this be the first to respect technique consistently with everyone, you will be amazed at people and their response to you going forward. Like I said, this is very powerful, a respectful leadership technique that makes you stand out from the rest. And do me a favor, once you've tried it, let me know how it goes. Tell me what happened in the comments section down below. That's today's technique. Be the first to respect. And just say hello to somebody and use their name, and you're going to be amazed at how well that works. I hope this has been helpful to you. And in our next episode of The Better Boss, I'm going to be interviewing a truly respectful leader, a C-suite member of a very successful global corporation whom I've had the great pleasure of serving for many years. We'll be talking about the power of what we call regular respect. But I'm not going to tell you who it is. You'll have to tune in to episode 3 to find out. And lastly, find out if you have what it takes to be a respectful leader. Take our short survey. It's called the Am I a Respectful Leader Self-Assessment. And just click on the link in the show notes. You'll find it. That's it for this episode. I will see you next time. And remember, don't be a butthead. Be the better boss.
I'm Rosie Ward, and this is Show Up as a Leader. To learn more, head over to peopleforwardnetwork.com and, of course, hit that follow button.